What's up, y'all? It's T-Fire the Barber, and welcome back to another episode of The Faded Room. Today, I'm at LATTC, and I'm actually having the opportunity to teach a class, which is my first class today, and I'm excited about it, and I'm excited to bring you guys along. So come on in, let's go. Hey you guys, so it's your barber girl T-Fire the Barber, and welcome back to another episode. I hope you guys like that first little intro of me teaching my first class. So here we are, we're going to jump into this fade of the week. As you guys can see, we have a client here, full head, and we're going to go in and debulk this back area. Pretty much she's getting the taper today, so we're just going to debulk this area to make sure it's more manageable for us to work around. He wants something that's very low in the back, so I tried to do my best to not go as high into the back of his head or the sides. He wanted something really low, not a lot off the top or anything like that. He just wanted a clean taper with a couple of inches off the top and the sides. So that's what we're gonna do. Here we are with our number 2 guard, and we're just gonna go in with this all the way open and debulk this area, just taking off all that extra hair. Then we're gonna go back in with our liners. As you guys can see, we're gonna create that guideline, that nice clean guideline, and we're starting pretty low. Like I said, he wants something that's low, a low taper in the back, so our guide got to start a little bit lower than we normally would. You guys can see we're just keeping this area a little bit clean right here, and to move into our next guide, which is our clipper all the way open, no guard, and just creating our next guideline about an inch up. And we're just making sure that area is really, really clean, so we could go ahead and, you know, knock that guideline out. So during this step, all we're doing is moving our lever back and forth between open and closed to knock out this whole area and blend this area up. As you guys can see, I just keep moving the lever up and down just to make sure I blend this area out as nice and clean as possible. Then we're gonna move into our next step with the number 1 guard all the way open and create our next guideline. Usually for this type of texture of hair, I would wet the hair first, but because I'm really not touching any of that top area, I'm just gonna leave that to when I get to the sides to start tapering the sides, and that's when I'm gonna wet it to put the hair part the hair out and put it up, just so I can have a little bit more access on the temple area when I'm ready to taper it. But here we are with the number 1. We're just going in at a angle just to get that little area right there that's by his neck, and just clean that out. making sure that guide is in as clean as possible, so when we go back and blend, we don't have that much work to do. It's still all the way open, and we're flicking out, you guys. We're not going straight up into his head. As you can see, the shape of his head comes out like a opposite C, like a C going the opposite way. So we're pretty much keeping our flick out in that same motion. We're not going straight up into the rest of his hair. Here we are, we're going back with the with the half guard, and we're going with this pretty much all the way closed, and we're just knocking out that line that we created with the number 1. Most of the time I would go back in here, and this is where a little bit of different comes in. Most of the time, if I was doing a more textured curly hair, I would go in here with it open first. But because his hair is a little bit more straighter, I have a little bit more control, and I'm able to get that extra hair off. So I could just go with it closed and just go in that C motion and just blending that little dark area that we had there out. And that's just some adjustments that you make while, you know, cutting the hair and knowing what texture hair that you guys are doing. Here we are just going with our shears over comb, and we're blending out the rest of this top of this hair because we're not going any higher. Like I said, he wants something that drops really low in the back. So all we got to do is make sure this area is as blended as possible so it can look like he did have a good fade, but just not exaggerated and take it too high up into the back of his head. Here we are going back with the no guard, and we're just doing the same thing you guys like earlier, just detailing and make sure that area is blended. And like I mentioned earlier, this is when I go in and wet the top of the hair because I'm doing the temple area, tapering at the temple area, so you know I need the access to that area. And here I am just gonna be parting it out in the crown area. Start at the crown, at the top of the crown, and just go all the way around the head. And make sure we have that area divided and sectioned off, just so when we go in with our taper, we know where we're at, and we're able to clean it up later on with shears over comb. Alright, and as you guys can see, we have a little bit more control of this area, and you see where the heavy line lays in the back. So we're gonna go in here with our liners first, creating that first guideline. As you can see, that shape is the shape that we want to keep throughout this haircut, just because like I said, we're not going up that high again, so we want to make it look like but make sure our taper stands out, and you could tell that he has a taper even though it's a little bit lower. So we're gonna go in here with no guard all the way closed and just knocking out that line, making it look as clean as possible, going back in with our liners and just detailing with the corners just to make sure we get that area again as smooth as possible. Then we're going to go in with our number 2 here, and we're going to debulk this area. As you guys can see, again, I'm not going in and I'm not digging into the top of the hair. I'm flicking out in that C motion, just so we can have more access to this area and be able to blend later on. Here we are with no guard all the way open. Go up about 1/2 inch and creating that guideline. Go back in with it halfway closed, then eventually all the way closed, just to blend out this area. Make it look as blended as possible. As you guys can see, we're blending this area and making sure it looks really, really, really blended. Here we are with our number 1, and we're going to do the same thing. Just flick out into that C motion. Keep the shape that we had originally created, just to give it a little bit more, you know, oomph on this actual haircut. As you guys can see, it's coming out pretty nice. We have that thick dark area, but most of that thick dark area we're gonna want to keep because we want to keep that little heavy look at the top. We're just gonna go back in and blend it out a little bit. And here we are with the number 2 again. We're just going in and tapping at that all the way closed, lever all the way closed, tapping at that area just to debulk a little bit more and take it off. But like I said, the look that we're going for is to keep that top a little bit more heavier. Make sure it's blended, make sure we have our shape, but keep it a little bit heavier. And that's the look we're going for. And this is just detailing, just going in without no guard, all the way open. Play with our lever, go up and down, just to make sure we blend this area out, but still keep the shape and not create another guideline. And it's going to be the same process on this side, you guys. This is going to go a little bit faster because it's literally the same process on the back. while this side is running and you guys can see me blending this side, I just want to say something really quick. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, watching, and leaving comments, and also subscribing. That was one of the main reasons why I was able to teach that class that you guys seen at the beginning of this video, is the fact that I've had these time to practice and talk to you guys, so I'm able to actually do one live. Hopefully in the future I'll be able to do way more classes. That is the plan, and I'll try to get as much as I can for you guys, just so you guys can see the process. But I really, like I said again, I really appreciate all you guys' love and support, commenting, subscribing. It's truly appreciated because it's letting me keep going forward in what I really truly love to do, and my passion, and just taking this as far as I can, and you know, having you guys there with me really does help. Now we're gonna move into the top of this haircut, and here we are, just wetting the rest of the hair just to make sure it's extremely saturated enough so we could go in with our shears and cut the top of this hair. We're gonna section the hair. I usually like to take a thin strip in the middle of the hair just so I could create my first guide, and the guide that's gonna travel throughout the whole haircut, the whole top of the longer part of this hair. And we're just gonna section this area off, and we're gonna do a 90-degree cut. Here we are. After a client consultation, he told me how much he wanted to take off. That's how much he would like to take off, and then we're just gonna go back in. One thing you guys need to remember, just try not to pass your second knuckle. That's as far as you try to go. It allows you to keep control of the hair and also not to cut yourself. So try to not pass the second knuckle. And also try to always bring the hair out from the direction that, especially if you're doing a 90-degree cut, bring the hair out directly from where it grows. So if it grows at an angle like you see me doing the sides, that's exactly what you're gonna do. If the hair is growing out from the sides, you're not gonna bring it all the way to the top. And that's just so you could have an even cut all the way around, a uniform cut all the way around. But at the same time, still have layers and texture into his hair. So when you do style it, it gives it a bit of a flair to the haircut and not just leave it so flat. And here we are, we're gonna be doing the same thing on this side, just cutting off the hair, not passing the second knuckle, making sure we have control of all of it. I feel like this is one of the favorite part of this haircut for me, is actually using the shear to trim the top and to give it a style. Whatever style that they're looking for is very pleasing to me. I hope you guys actually, you know, do like working with your shears too. It's really important, and there's so much you could do with it. You know, you could carve, whatever it is. You could always make a haircut look good with the shears, and that's, you know, that's one of my main things that I enjoy. Besides the clippers, besides working with the clippers, yeah, the shears is definitely it for me. And here we are going back in with our texturizing shears and just cleaning up that area. The hair is already semi-dry to this point. You know, I just blow dried it. I didn't blow dry it in a specific direction. I just wanted to dry it so I could get a better control over lining up. And then later on we're gonna dry it and then actually style it. Here we are. He just like a shadowed hairline, so we're not really going into his hair like that. We're just making sure there's not any extra overhang or anything like that. He does not like any type of enhancement, so it's going to be a natural lineup too for you guys. In the comment section below, you guys could suggest anything that you guys would like to see. You know, anything that you would like to see me work on and put in a video. That's always a suggestion, you guys. If you just want to drop it down in the comment section below, I'm always open. And here we are. We're just going in with our straight razors and just cleaning up this area, making sure this taper stands out a bit, especially that we don't have enhancements to stand it out that much. We just gotta make sure that lines are clean. And we're going in with some texturizing powder and styling this hair. This is one way that you could style this hair. This is the first way. The way he actually likes it is going to be the final styling, but I just did this to show you guys that there's so many different ways you could actually style his haircut. As you guys can see, it's pretty much like a shaggy, but still having some type of look or a form to it. And this is the second way, and this is the way he does like styling his hair. He loves it to go back where you can see the lineup, but still where it's styled. So we're just gonna take our blow dryer and comb it into place with our fingers. You could use a comb if you want to. You could use a brush if you want to. I already used the brush to dry it, so I use my fingers to put it in place. And this right here is the final look, you guys. I hope you guys appreciate it and enjoyed this video that I had right here for you guys. And at the start of this, I hope you guys enjoyed this taper. Like I said, this is just a quick, clean, low taper for a gentleman that just didn't want a lot done. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, share, turn on post notification. Alright, it's your barber girl, T-Fire the Barber, and catch y'all in the next fade.